In a world that rushes to define your worth through likes, deadlines, and noise, the real power lies in what you choose to say to yourself before the world even wakes up. Mornings aren't just the start of a new day. They're a sacred reset, a quiet opportunity to reprogram your mind for confidence, clarity, and courage. Forget stale affirmations. This is a morning ritual upgrade designed for the elevated you. When you talk to yourself with purpose, you don't just change your mindset, you realign your frequency, redirect your energy, and reclaim your day before it begins. So stand in front of the mirror, look yourself in the eyes, and speak life. Because what you say to yourself every morning is the story your soul will believe. Number 1. I am the main character in my life, not a side role in someone else's story. This is more than just a statement. It's a soul-awakening realization that shatters the chains of people-pleasing, silent suffering, and invisible existence. For too long, you may have walked through life waiting for someone to notice you, validate you, or choose you, believing your worth came from how useful, kind, or quiet you could be in other people's narratives. But not anymore. You were not born to play the background in your own life. You were not created to bend your light so others wouldn't feel uncomfortable. You are not a supporting actor in the drama of someone else's dreams. You are the one with the pen, the one with the voice, the one with the heartbeat that thunders with untold purpose. You are the main character, flawed, growing, rising. You get to make decisions, not based on obligation, but on alignment. You don't have to apologize for choosing peace over people-pleasing, solitude over chaos, or truth over approval. This is your story, and you are allowed to rewrite the script anytime you outgrow the old one. Let go of the chapters where you silenced your voice, played small to be accepted, or waited for permission to live fully. The truth is, no one is coming to rescue you, not because you are not worthy of saving, but because you were born to save yourself. You are the hero you've been waiting for. You have the courage to take the lead, the strength to change the direction, and the grace to forgive the parts of yourself you once buried to fit in. From this morning forward, look in the mirror and remind yourself, I belong at the center of my life. I will not keep auditioning for roles in people's stories when I have a world to create of my own. I walk with intention, speak with presence, and live with unapologetic authenticity. I am not defined by who leaves or who stays. I am defined by how I choose to rise. And today I rise as the main character, bold, centered, unstoppable. Number 2, everything I need is already within me. I am not chasing, I'm attracting. Everything I need is already within me. I am not chasing, I'm attracting. Let that truth settle deep into your soul, because the world has conditioned you to believe the opposite, to believe that you are incomplete, that fulfillment lies somewhere out there, always just out of reach, waiting in someone's approval, a relationship, a title, a number in your bank account, or a perfect version of yourself that doesn't exist. But the real breakthrough comes the moment you realize you were never meant to chase anything. You were meant to remember who you are. There is a quiet, unwavering power inside you, an inner abundance, a sacred wholeness, a light that does not flicker just because someone fails to see it. When you chase, you act from a place of lack, of not enoughness, of fear disguised as ambition. But when you attract, you move differently. You walk into rooms like you belong, because your worth is not up for debate. You speak your truth without shrinking, because your voice carries the authority of someone who knows they are enough. You set boundaries not out of anger, but out of self-respect, You stop begging for love, attention, or opportunities because you know the frequency you emit is already drawing the right things toward you. Quietly, magnetically, inevitably, you become the kind of person who doesn't plead to be chosen because you've already chosen yourself. And when you choose yourself, the world rises to meet you with aligned people, places, and moments that mirror your self-worth. There's no force more powerful than a soul that's no longer desperate, no longer searching outside for what was always within. You begin to trust divine timing, to release the grip, to detach from outcomes and still stand confident. Knowing what's meant for you cannot pass you, and what passes you was never meant for the version of you you're becoming. So stop chasing things that drain you. Sit still. Recenter. Feel your power rise again. Everything you've ever needed, peace, strength, purpose, clarity, it's not in the next achievement or the next person. It's already living in your breath, your heart, your spirit. All you have to do is stop running and return home. Today, I invested wisely. This isn't just a mantra, it's a new way of living. A radical shift in how you protect your peace and value yourself in a world that's constantly pulling at you, draining you, demanding more than it gives back. Energy is more than physical stamina. It's your attention, your emotions, your presence, your love, your thoughts. It's what fuels your spirit and shapes your reality. Every conversation you have, every worry you entertain, every space you enter, every person you give a piece of yourself to, it all costs you something. And the question is, are you spending your energy like someone who knows their value? Or are you giving it away freely to things that deplete you, disrespect you, or distract you from your purpose? Today, you take your power back. Today, you stop investing in overthinking, people-pleasing, toxic cycles, fake connections, and things that steal your joy. You stop explaining your worth to those committed to misunderstanding you. You stop forcing your presence where your spirit feels small, because your energy is sacred. It is not to be wasted on gossip, comparison, regret, or fear. It is to be poured into growth, healing, peace, purpose, and alignment. When you begin to treat your energy like currency, you become intentional with where you show up, how long you stay, and what you allow in. You start to ask, does this feed me or drain me? Does this honor who I'm becoming? You learn that saying no is not rejection, it's self-respect. That rest is not laziness, it's preservation. That being unavailable is not rude, it's wise. You realize that just because something wants your energy doesn't mean it deserves it. The truth is, your time is borrowed, but your energy is yours to direct. So pour it where it returns. Invest it where it grows. Share it where it's safe. Protect it like it's gold, because it is. You only get so much of it each day. Don't let it leak through cracks you've outgrown. Don't bankrupt your spirit trying to pay for other people's comfort. Walk into this day with your head high and your heart guarded, not out of fear, but out of love for yourself. Because once you understand your energy is your wealth, you'll never spend it the same way again. Number 4, I am not here to be liked. I am here to be real. I am not here to be liked. I am here to be real. Let those words burn away every mask you've ever worn, every smile you forced to keep the peace, every time you dimmed your light just to be accepted. This is your permission to stop shrinking into palatable versions of yourself for the comfort of others. For far too long, you may have bent yourself into shapes that pleased everyone but fractured your soul, saying yes when you meant no, staying silent when your heart screamed to speak, softening your truth to avoid being too much, too different, or too honest. But approval is a moving target, and no matter how much you contort yourself to be liked, there will always be someone who finds fault. So why betray yourself for love that's conditional? Why perform for applause that fades the moment you stop dancing? Being liked is not the goal. Being real is. Real is raw. Real is sometimes messy. Real doesn't always smile on cue. Real is having the courage to show up as you are, flawed, growing, unfiltered. When you choose to be real, you choose truth over performance, peace over perfection, alignment over acceptance. And yes, not everyone will like that version of you. Some will walk away when they can't mold you into what they need. Let them. Because the ones who stay, when you stop pretending, when you stop overgiving, when you start setting boundaries and speaking your truth, they are the ones worthy of your energy. Realness may cost you shallow approval, but it will attract deep soul-aligned connection. It will restore your dignity, your peace, your voice. You were not born to blend in, you were born to stand out, not as a spectacle, but as a light. And the world doesn't need more likable masks. It needs more real hearts. Unapologetic, grounded, true. So today, stop filtering yourself to make others comfortable. You're not here to win popularity contests. You're here to live in your truth, walk in your purpose, and be a mirror for those still afraid to be themselves. The right people will resonate, the right spaces will welcome you, but first you must choose to be real, even if that means standing alone. Because authenticity isn't just your superpower, it's your freedom. Number 5. Today, I respond, not react. Today, I respond, not react. These are the words of someone reclaiming their inner peace, someone who refuses to be dragged by the chaos of the world or the unpredictability of others. Reactions are immediate, emotional, often rooted in wounds, automatic sparks lit by fear, anger, or pride. But responses are intentional. They come from awareness, from stillness, from wisdom earned through pain, reflection, and growth. When you react, you give your power away. You let external circumstances dictate your internal state. You become a puppet to noise, a prisoner to triggers, a mirror to the dysfunction around you. You feel you, but when you respond, you rise above the noise. You pause. You breathe. You listen to what your higher self is trying to say beneath the surface. Responding doesn't mean you're passive. It means you're powerful enough to choose your energy, to weigh your words, to move from clarity, not chaos. It means someone else's anger won't ignite yours. Someone's cruelty won't make you cruel. Someone's pressure won't make you break. It means you understand that every moment is a chance to either fuel the fire or be the calm. And the calm is where your power lives. Today you do not allow your emotions to hijack your spirit. You do not let impatience ruin your peace or ego speak louder than empathy. You are not a slave to the moment. You are a master of your space. So you pause, you think, you ask, is this worth my energy? Will this matter tomorrow? Does this reflect who I'm becoming? And when you answer from truth, you begin to move differently. You begin to carry peace even in storms. You begin to speak life even in conflict. You begin to walk away when silence is louder than words. This isn't weakness, it's mastery. It's strength refined through restraint, maturity wrapped in mindfulness. Every time you choose to respond instead of react, you honor your growth. You prove to yourself that you are no longer who you used to be, that healing is working, that peace is possible, that power doesn't always need to roar. Sometimes it simply breathes and chooses not to be moved. Number 6, I release yesterday. It no longer defines me. I release yesterday. It no longer defines me. These are not just gentle words. They are the beginning of a personal revolution, a sacred letting go of the pain, regret, shame, and weight you were never meant to carry into today. So much of our suffering comes from replaying old moments, clinging to old identities, and measuring our worth through the lens of past mistakes or heartbreaks. But yesterday is a story that's already been written, and no amount of reliving it can rewrite it. What it can do, however, is rob you of the beauty and opportunity in this present moment. You are not your worst decisions. You are not the person you were when you were in survival mode. You are not defined by who hurt you, who left you, or what didn't go the way you planned. Those were moments, not definitions. Experiences, not life sentences. Every breath you take now is a chance to begin again. Not because the past disappears, but because you evolve beyond it. You grow, you learn, you shed old skin, you rise. Releasing yesterday doesn't mean you forget. It means you stop letting it dictate your identity. It means you no longer look at your reflection through the rearview mirror of guilt and pain. It means you stop dragging your old self into every new day, expecting a different future while holding on to the past like a badge or a burden. Today, you forgive yourself for not knowing better. You extend grace to the broken parts that made decisions out of fear, not wisdom. You look at the lessons with gratitude, not bitterness. And you reclaim your power. Not from others, but from the version of yourself that believed you had to carry it all alone. So breathe in the present. Breathe out the past. Stand tall in the now, knowing that every second you choose to release yesterday, you're giving your soul permission to move freely, love fully, and live deeply. You are not what happened to you. You are what you choose to become beyond it. And today, you choose freedom. Number 7. I am magnetic to opportunities aligned with my highest self. I am magnetic to opportunities aligned with my highest self. This is more than just an affirmation. It is a sacred remembering, a declaration that you no longer chase what isn't meant for you, because you understand your energy is a beacon that attracts exactly what you are ready to receive. When you align with your truth, when you live in integrity, speak from the soul, and move with purpose, you become magnetic. Not in a loud or desperate way, but in a quiet, undeniable pull that draws in everything meant to meet you on your journey of becoming. You no longer have to beg, prove, or force your way into rooms that were never built for the fullness of who you are. You simply become, and what is meant for you cannot help but find you. The right people, ideas, moments, and opportunities begin to arrive, not because you're lucky, but because you're aligned. You are vibrating at the frequency of authenticity, purpose, and self-worth, and the universe recognizes that signal with clarity. And while others are burning out, chasing validation, and scrambling for success, you're rooted in something deeper. You're guided by alignment, not achievement. This doesn't mean you sit idle. It means you move with intention, not desperation. You do the inner work, you follow your intuition, and you trust that what is delayed is not denied. You understand that sometimes rejection is redirection, and closed doors are divine protection. Because your highest self doesn't settle, it calls in what uplifts, expands, and honors your growth. You stop entertaining opportunities that compromise your peace or ask you to shrink. You stop pursuing things out of fear and start receiving from a place of faith. Today, you hold your head high knowing that you are not behind. You are being prepared. And the more you choose your highest self in every decision, conversation and action, the more the universe responds with mirrors of that choice, but to attract everything that is. Number 8. I deserve to take up space, physically, mentally, spiritually. I deserve to take up space, physically, mentally, spiritually. These words are a gentle but fierce reclaiming of your right to exist fully, boldly, unapologetically. For far too long, you may have been taught to make yourself smaller, to quiet your voice, to doubt your brilliance, to minimize your presence, so others could feel more comfortable. You were told to stay in line, to not be too loud, too emotional, too confident, too much of anything that made others feel uneasy. But today, that ends. Because you were never meant to shrink, to fit into spaces that were too small for your soul. You were meant to expand, to fill the room with your truth, to take deep breaths without apology, to stand tall in your uniqueness, your opinions, your dreams, and your energy. You are not an inconvenience. You are not too much. You are not selfish for wanting space to feel, to think, to create, to heal, to exist in your fullness. Your body deserves to move freely and proudly without shame. Your mind deserves to explore, to question, to rest. Your spirit deserves to rise, to connect, to be nourished, not just in silence or solitude, but out loud, in real spaces where you are not just seen, but felt. Taking up space is not arrogance, it is self-acceptance. It is saying, I will no longer apologize for being here, for needing support, for expressing emotion, for wanting joy, for pursuing what lights me up. You don't need to wait for permission to step into your power. You don't need validation to know you belong. You are allowed to take up space in conversations, in relationships, in your own dreams. You are allowed to draw boundaries that protect your peace. You are allowed to have needs, to want more, to believe that your presence matters, because it does. The world does not benefit from your silence. It thrives when you show up fully, authentically, and without guilt. So today, stretch out. Mentally, emotionally, spiritually, fill your space, occupy your truth. Let your existence echo loudly. I am here and I matter. The more you are allowed to draw boundaries that matter to you fully. I am here and I matter. The more you are allowed to draw boundaries that matter to you fully. Fill your body with hope and joy and love and look forward to the day that you will feel happy and full. Number 9. Progress is better than perfection. Perfection is a myth anyway. Progress is better than perfection. Perfection is a myth anyway. These words carry the weight of liberation, a quiet truth that frees you from the invisible prison of not feeling good enough unless everything is flawless. For too long, you've been told that only perfect outcomes are worthy of praise, that unless you do it all and do it right the first time, you've somehow failed. But perfection is a moving target, an illusion that keeps your self-worth chained to performance and approval. It whispers lies, that you must always have it together, that one mistake erases all your effort, that vulnerability is weakness and flaws are shameful. But the truth is, real growth is messy. Healing isn't linear. Becoming who you're meant to be will never be neat or convenient. It's in the stumbling forward, the tiny wins, the uncomfortable steps into the unknown, that your power is shaped. Every time you choose to try again, to show up even when you're uncertain, to continue despite setbacks. That's progress. And progress is real, it's honest, it's beautiful because it's imperfect. You don't have to be the best, you just have to be better than who you were yesterday. That's where the magic is, in the courage to begin again, in the grace to forgive yourself, in the humility to say, I'm still learning. Perfection keeps you frozen. Progress sets you free. When you let go of the need to impress and choose instead to evolve, you begin to move in alignment with your truth. You learn that effort is enough, that showing up, shaky, flawed, and trying is more admirable than pretending to have it all figured out. So take the leap, write the messy first draft, speak even if your voice trembles, love even if your heart is still healing. Progress honors your humanity, perfection denies it. Today choose movement over stagnation, growth over guilt, realness over performance. You are not here to be perfect. You are here to be authentic, to learn, to evolve, and to become. And every step, no matter how small, is a victory. Number 9. I speak to myself with love and lead with grace. I speak to myself with love and lead with grace. These words are a soft revolution, a quiet promise to yourself that you will no longer be your own enemy, that you will no longer weaponize your thoughts against your heart. For years, perhaps, you've been your harshest critic, quick to judge, slow to forgive, repeating to yourself every flaw, every mistake, every imperfection, like a script you never meant to memorize. But now you choose differently. You choose tenderness. You choose to become a safe place for your own soul, because the way you speak to yourself shapes everything. It becomes the tone of your thoughts, the root of your confidence, the lens through which you see the world. If your inner voice is filled with shame, self-doubt, or cruelty, how can you rise? How can you dream? How can you trust your own steps? But when you speak with love, gently, kindly, honestly, you begin to heal the deepest wounds. You begin to unlearn the belief that you must earn worthiness or hustle for acceptance. You begin to realize that grace is not just something you give to others, it's something you owe yourself. To lead with grace means allowing yourself to be human. It means you no longer shame yourself for your sensitivity, your missteps, your moments of fear. It means you extend compassion even when you fall short. You remind yourself, I am learning, I am trying, I am growing, and growth requires softness. It requires patience. The most powerful version of you is not the one who is always right, always perfect, always strong. It's the one who speaks kindly in the mirror after failing, the one who breathes deeply and keeps going. When you lead with grace, you become a light, not only for others, but for yourself. You move through life with calm confidence, not because everything is easy, but because your inner dialogue no longer destroys your spirit. Today, you choose to uplift yourself. You become your own encourager, your own reminder that even on the days you feel broken, you are still worthy of love. And in that space of inner gentleness, you create the most unshakable kind of strength. The kind that doesn't shout, but stands tall, the kind that walks in peace. Number 11. I can do hard things, and I've already survived my hardest days. This is not just a reminder. It's a sacred truth, etched into the fabric of your soul, built from the quiet resilience you carried when no one was watching, when you cried in silence and still showed up, when everything around you felt like it was breaking, but somehow you didn't. You've been through storms that tried to swallow you whole, through nights where sleep never came, and mornings where getting out of bed felt like a battle. And yet, here you are, still breathing, still moving, still becoming. That's not weakness, that's power. That's evidence of strength, deeper than you give yourself credit for. Life has tested you, stretched you, tried to convince you that you're not enough, but it failed. Because you're still standing, you've walked through loss, heartbreak, confusion, rejection, failure, and though they may have changed you, they did not end you. You've proven again and again that you are stronger than the things that try to destroy you. So when today feels heavy, when fear creeps in, when the mountain ahead looks too steep, remind yourself, I've done hard things before. I've faced the darkness and found light. I've fallen and found the courage to rise, and I will do it again. You don't need to know all the answers. You don't need to feel brave every second. You just need to trust that the strength within you is not gone. It's waiting quietly for you to believe in it again. Whisper to yourself, I can do this, even if your voice trembles, because you've already made it through days you once thought would break you, and that means you carry a legacy of survival, of courage, of quiet, unstoppable power. And that power, it's still in you, still beating, still ready. Number 12, I protect my peace like it's sacred, because it is. These words are not just a boundary, they are a vow to your soul, a declaration that your inner world matters more than anyone's opinions, chaos, or expectations. Peace is not just a feeling, it's a state of being that you fought hard to create through the healing, the letting go, the sleepless nights, the hard conversations, and the quiet mornings of self-reflection. It's the stillness that emerged after the storms you thought would break you. And once you taste that kind of stillness, the kind where your mind stops racing, your heart feels safe, and your body exhales, you realize just how sacred it is. You realize that nothing and no one is worth the cost of disturbing that sanctuary. Not the drama disguised as friendship, not the arguments that leave you hollow, not the cycles you've outgrown but feel guilty for leaving. Protecting your peace means choosing silence over chaos, solitude over forced connection, healing over proving a point. It means not answering every message, not attending every argument, not explaining yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. It means walking away gracefully, firmly, when your spirit senses dissonance. You are not selfish for needing quiet. You are not wrong for choosing yourself. Your peace is your power, and it is yours to protect. Not everyone deserves access to your energy, and you don't owe anyone the version of yourself that sacrificed joy just to keep the peace externally while falling apart internally. When you begin to treat your peace as sacred, life transforms. You begin to feel lighter, more in control, more whole. You start hearing your own voice again, the one buried under noise. You stop reacting and start responding. You stop surviving and start living. Because peace isn't passive. It's a fierce, conscious choice to stop letting the world write your emotional script. And today, you choose differently. You choose to honor the sanctuary within you, to guard it, to water it, to fight for it. Because the more you protect your peace, the more you come home to yourself. And that is where true freedom begins. Number 13. Today, I move with purpose, not pressure. These words are a soul-deep reminder that you are not here to be a machine of endless productivity or to measure your worth by how much you can carry, achieve, or endure. You are here to live, to breathe, to feel, to move in alignment with your values, not in reaction to the noise of the world. For too long, pressure has dictated your pace. Deadlines, comparisons, expectations, and the invisible weight of shoulds that whisper you behind, you're late, you're not enough unless you're doing more. But pressure is a thief. It robs you of joy. It clouds your clarity, and it turns meaningful moments into checkboxes. Purpose, however, is sacred. Purpose grounds you. It comes from within, not from fear or ego, but from the quiet knowing of who you are and what truly matters to you. When you move with purpose, you stop rushing, you stop chasing approval, you stop performing. You begin to walk in rhythm with your soul's timing, not society's stopwatch. Every step becomes intentional. Every decision becomes a reflection of your truth, not your panic. You do what needs to be done, yes, but from a place of power, not pressure. You rest when you need to, because you understand that stillness is productive too. You say no to what drains you, and yes to what fuels you. To say no to what drains you, and yes to what fuels you. To say no to what drains you, and yes to what fuels you. To say no to what drains you, and yes to what fuels you. To say no to what drains you, and yes to what fuels you. To say no to what drains you, and yes to what fuels you. To say no to what you stop living to impress and start living to express your heart, your gifts, your authenticity. Pressure screams, hurry up. Purpose whispers, stay steady. And today, you choose the whisper. You choose to trust your own pace, your own path. You choose to let go of the idea that you must constantly prove yourself. You already are enough. Your value is not tied to how fast you move, but to how deeply you live. So breathe. Release the weight. And walk forward, not to be seen, not to keep up, not to survive, but to fulfill, to create, to be, because the life you truly desire doesn't come from pressure. It comes from purpose, presence, and peace. And that is exactly how you move today. Number 14, I am allowed to evolve and outgrow people, places, and versions of myself. These words are not just a gentle affirmation. They are a bold permission slip to let go of who you once were, even when others try to hold you there. Growth is not betrayal, it's transformation. And yet, we often carry guilt for changing, for no longer fitting into the molds we once lived in, for walking away from friendships that no longer feel aligned, or leaving spaces where our soul no longer breathes. But your evolution is not something you need to apologize for, it's something to honor. You are not meant to stay the same version of yourself just to make others comfortable. You are a living, breathing, expanding soul. The dreams that once excited you might not inspire you now, and that's okay. The people you once laughed with may no longer serve your healing, and that's okay. Evolution is not about becoming someone else, it's about becoming more you, shedding layers of conditioning, fear, and smallness, so that your truest self can breathe. Yes, it's painful to outgrow people you once loved. Yes, it's lonely to leave behind a life you once prayed for. But staying where you no longer feel alive is the real loss. You are allowed to choose peace over familiarity, purpose over comfort, authenticity over approval. Growth will cost you parts of your past, but what you gain is everything: clarity, freedom, alignment, self-respect. You may feel misunderstood, judged, or even abandoned, but those who are meant to journey with you will evolve too. The rest were only meant for a chapter, not the whole book. So give yourself the grace to change, the courage to release, and the faith to rise into who you are becoming. You owe it to yourself to keep unfolding, to keep expanding, to keep stepping into the life that fits your soul, not just your history. Today, you remind yourself, I am allowed to grow beyond what once fit. I am not stagnant. I am sacred. I am becoming. Number 15, this morning I choose me, not out of selfishness, but self-respect. These words are a quiet act of revolution in a world that teaches you to pour endlessly into others while leaving your own cup empty. For so long, you may have believed that choosing yourself meant you were selfish, unkind, or ungrateful. That prioritizing your needs, your rest, your truth made you less worthy of love or connection. But today, you awaken to a deeper truth. Choosing yourself is the foundation of everything real and sustainable in your life. It is not about ignoring others. It's about finally remembering that you too matter, that your heart deserves tenderness, that your dreams deserve pursuit, that your soul deserves space to breathe. Choosing yourself means you no longer abandon your boundaries just to be accepted. It means you no longer silence your voice so others can feel louder. It means you walk away from what confuses your spirit, even if it once felt like home. And no, it's not always easy. Guilt might try to sneak in. Old habits might whisper that your worth is in how much you give. But today, you choose differently. Today, you rise with the understanding that honoring yourself is not rejection, it's alignment. It's saying, I love you, but I love me too. It's knowing that the more you respect yourself, the more you teach the world how to treat you. It's understanding that choosing yourself doesn't take anything away from others. It actually gives them the best, most whole, most present version of you. You don't have to burn yourself out to be enough. You don't have to earn rest, love, or permission to exist fully. You are worthy simply because you are. So this morning, you take a breath and decide, with grace, with strength, with quiet courage, that you will no longer live in pieces. You will choose you, your peace, your joy, your voice, your path. And from that place of sacred self-respect, everything else will begin to align. Not because you begged for it, but because you finally remembered you deserve it. As you walk away from these 15 powerful things to tell yourself every morning, carry them not just as words, but as sacred tools. Anchors for your mind, nourishment for your soul, and armor for your heart. These aren't just affirmations, they are truths, hard-earned and soul-remembered. Each one is a seed. Plant them in the quiet soil of your morning, and you will grow into someone you barely recognize. Not because you've changed into someone else, but because you've finally returned home to you. The world will try to pull you in 1,000 directions, but let your mornings be your moment of stillness, your daily revolution, your whisper to the universe that you remember your worth. Speak to yourself gently, move through life intentionally, and never forget. Your energy is sacred, your story is unfolding, and your presence is powerful beyond measure.